Meeting to order.
Sir, yes, sir.
Stand up for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Amen. And can we have a roll call, please?
Maria Mills Benet.
Here.
Bo Bofamy.
Here.
Tom Jordan. Lance Green.
Is here.
Newton White.
Here.
Stan Schmidt.
Present.
Chair John Junko.
Here. Okay, consideration of minutes.
Make a motion to approve the minutes
So
from
sec-
September 23rd.
Second.
Did you second?
No, I heard Bo
Oh,
jump
okay,
in. So
okay.
Somebody did.
All right, then can we get a roll call for that?
Maria Mills Benet.
Yes.
Bo Bofamy.
Yes.
Lance Green.
Yes.
Newton White.
Yes.
Stan Schmidt.
Yes.
Chair John Junko.
Yes. All right, item number 4, application comprehensive plan, capital improvements, element 2021 annual update, and that's case number 21-27500001. Hello.
Hello.
It's gonna be a long one.
Yep.
Glad you saved it for today. Good planning.
Good evening, Penelope Cruz Planning. So as we do every November, we're here before you with the annual CIE update. It's required by state law. We're basically taking, as you can see the process below, the already approved capital improvements element and just copying and pasting into the comprehensive plan those projects that are required for concurrency or to meet the comprehensive plan requirements. It's required to also be in that strike through and underlined format. So basically everything is changing from the prior fiscal year to the current fiscal year. We take out the prior fiscal year items, add the new fiscal year. And again, there's no new information, nothing that I can have an opinion on or that we can debate. It's already approved by the city council during the budget process, and we just copy and paste it into the comprehensive plan. Here's just a reminder of how that cycle kind of works and how everything kind of works together. So every November we have this annual concurrency management report. So on your agenda tonight, under just reports, you have in your packet for your information this year's concurrency management report. That will guide the next budget cycle that'll be starting in January and February. If it identifies any issues or any improvements that might be needed, that's used as a guide for the budgeting process. By October, they're adopting the annual concurrency management report, adopting the budget in September, and then we'll be back before you next November, copying that CIP into next year's comp plan. So that's kind of the cycle we're in every year. So with that, I'm just here to answer any questions you might have.
So this is just the early look at what the next year's capital budget's gonna look like?
No, it's a late look at what we've already done.
Yeah.
So
That's what I thought, so I'm
Yeah.
going, okay,
Yeah,
so we
it's a-
just have to have us vote on
yeah.
it.
So we did, they adopted right here in this green circle, they adopted the CIP in August. The final budget that had the operating and CIP was adopted then in September, and now we're here in November, putting it into the CIE. And then also on your agenda tonight is this year's concurrency manager report, which will start the cycle again for next
Right.
year. So the report that's on your agenda today will guide eventually what happens next year. So it's just an ongoing.
So you just really need a vote on this first one? 'Cause
Yeah,
it's
we do.
already done.
It's a comp plan amendment, so you have to vote on it, but it's not really anything we have any control over. It's already approved projects. We just are required by state law to put it from one document into another document.
Want a motion?
Move to approve case number 21-275000001.
Second.
Okay, well, considering that went so quickly, here, roll call?
Well, we have public comment.
Public comments.
Oh, yes, we do. Gotta have public comment. I thought we were gonna talk this a little bit longer. I didn't realize we were gonna have a motion so early. There was
Not much
75 pages to go over.
It's cast in stone, so what are you gonna do?
Yeah, so you kinda caught me off guard here. But yeah, I guess we'll have, anyone from the public would like to come up and, discuss any, items on this case? The application?
Robert's our only public.
Commission members, Robert Reinhagen, 1425 Dexter Drive North. My only question is the new river crossing water main, $2 million. And my question is because it talks about grants, is that actually budgeted money that's budgeted, or is it money that could be there if they get a grant? That's my comment. Thank you.
Robert.
Thank you, Robert.
Robert. Here's the public participation award.
Aw, you get a
There you go.
pumpkin bread, Robert. Aw,
Penny, would
that's
you
for
like to-
showing up every
you go.
month, Robert.
Would you like to answer that in comments to his question?
Penelope Cruz Planning, I can't really speak to the specifics. That would be a question
Okay.
that we'd have to follow up with the Public Utilities Department, but it was all hatched out during the budgeting process. It's the project's already being approved. Most of the grants that are in here are things that we're applying for,
Okay,
but
that's just for his clarity.
yeah, the
I'm
specifics,
glad you said that.
the
Okay.
specifics would need to ask the Public Utilities
All
Department.
right, very good,
You would
thank you.
basically, Penny, you'd basically have to look at this when they were working in the budget process with the capital improvement plan, the CIP.
Yeah.
Anybody else in the public would like to come up and state anything in regards to this case? No? No comments from the commissioners? Everybody's all happy? Okay. Do I hear a motion?
We already had a motion and a
We don't
second.
even need a motion, right?
We
We
need
need a
roll
roll
call.
call.
Well, we have one. Okay, then let's go with the roll call.
Maria Mills Bonet,
Yes.
Bo Bofamy,
Yes.
Lance Green,
Yes.
Newton White,
Yes.
Stan Schmidt.
Yes.
Chair John Junko.
Yes. Item 5, agenda number, item 2022, proposed public hearing, development review calendars. This is,
Penelope Cruz Planning. So right now, the Land Development Code requires that we officially bring this to you as an item. We're going to hopefully clean that up in the near future. But if you have any questions, it's the same thing every year. It's the fourth Thursday of every month, except for where we have holidays. It gets adjusted, and that's noted in the
Right.
staff report. So we just need you to vote to accept them.
okay, so we're
And
going
then put them
to
on your
have a-
calendar so you can show up.
Okay, so this really doesn't require public comments.
She's sassy tonight.
So this is basically just a housekeeping item for our meetings.
Yep.
Any comments from the commissioners in regards to a conflict that you think you're okay with this?
None here, Mr. Chairman.
Newton?
I am perfect with this, Mr. Chairman.
Stan?
Looks good to me.
Bo?
I think it's very nice.
Marie?
Wonderful.
Okay, then let's, no public comments in regards to our schedule? Good, okay, do we hear a motion?
Motion to approve, it doesn't have a case number. Motion to
Yeah,
approve the
public
calendar
hearing.
for 2022 for a public hearing.
Second.
Okay, roll call please.
Maria Mills Bonet,
Yes.
Bo Bofamy,
Yes.
Lance Green,
Yes.
Newton White,
Yes.
Stan Schmidt.
Yes.
Chair John Junko.
Yes. So item 6, 2021 concurrency management report.
So there's not a presentation, it's just a report.
Okay, all right, again, this
You
is,
need, do you need a vote on this?
oh, no.
No,
So,
it's just a
you
report.
just brought it up, it's officially been put into the minutes, we're good, we don't have to vote on it or anything.
I'd like to go through this page by page if we could.
75 pages.
Let me open my
There's
bread.
nothing about a
You
Waffle
brought a
House
fork
sign
with
in
you? Is that what
there.
you're saying?
Let's break some bread.
Well, in lieu of the festive month that we're having, we have item 7, commissioner comments. This one's moving right along. Marie, you want to start off? Any comments?
I'm good.
All right, Bo?
You know, unfortunately, I don't have anything to say. We got the beginning of the roll call here too, so, no, everything's good.
No. Stan?
Nothing.
Newton?
I do.
All right.
And if I may go down to the podium and somebody can help me with my little flash drive or upload the pictures.
Oh, boy.
Oh,
here we
there
go.
went a quick meeting.
There went the record. You had the
We need
record,
the, we
too,
need
Johnny.
the
you
legal
do
opinion
this?
on this.
Make
Johnny, I had the
sure
record,
you
I think,
allot
at 13
Newton
minutes, but it
the,
just got
mandatory
broken
3
down.
minutes.
We need an attorney opinion on this. Do we really want to do this, Mr. Chairman?
Well, the attorney said I had to, so.
Can we vote, hey, can we
Okay.
vote to
Oh,
censor
so
this?
Need help, like,
This is
pulling
something
some-
I
So,
want to
it's- so it's her
So this
fault, is that what you're saying?
So this
Official
falls under
business.
Commissioner
Can we vote to
comments.
censor?
Lance, you're after this, so.
Okay. About 2 weeks ago, in my day job as a realtor, I went to a affordable housing presentation that was coincided with the City of Daytona Beach Commissioner Walk in that district. And there they had, and I will try and find the picture of the one that I wanted to show you. You have this document up there with you. I gave
Yes,
everybody a
tiny
copy
house.
of their brochure. And I don't even want to call these tiny houses. I more want to call them small
Oh, I saw your
houses.
post about that.
Let's see. And this is a picture of it sitting on the back of a flatbed trailer on a truck. And yeah, this doesn't let me scroll along, but I just wanted to show the pictures of it. This is a house. It is not a mobile home. It meets or exceeds all Florida building codes for a site-built home. They bring it in on a truck, they lift it up with a crane, they set it down on piers or a stem wall foundation. It's firm, it's attached, meets all the building codes. It's got a metal roof, it's 2x4 studs, hardy board siding, spray foam insulation throughout, like a giant igloo cooler. I forget, they said the energy efficiency of this is off the scale for low electric bill and stuff. It has metal roof, impact windows, and the really neat thing, it can be financed with an FHA or a VA 30-year loan. So it goes with conventional financing, not like a mobile home that has to use different financing that has shorter terms, higher interest rates, making this model, if I can get to some more of the pictures of it. This is inside the bedroom. It's got a little washer dryer sitting over there in the corner. Get rid of that picture and try another one. Tankless hot water heater. It's all plumbed. It's got all full-size regular house. There's your electric box. I know I got a couple of contractors. And the reason I have to do this at the commission meeting is I can't come talk to you about it because one day I hope to be voting about it. Because I would like to see us change our ordinances, whatever we need to in the city, to be able to allow these. Right now, we have a 700 and something square foot minimum requirement for a site-built home in the city, and these are only 432 square feet. This is the living room area, part of the kitchen. You can see the construction, the fit. It's got regular appliances, regular everything in it. My thought on this is that we have areas in our city that have very aged mobile homes dating back to the 60s and the 70s. I've been in these, I've shown them, and they're in horrible condition, some of them. This would be a great replacement. This model has it shown here was $87,500 with just a little off-the-cuff figuring between myself and some other realtors that were there. We were figuring land setup and everything would be $130,000 or less, which would put this in the affordable housing realm of under $1,000 a month payment with less than $10,000 cash down. Sounds like a sales plan, doesn't it? But that's what I'm thinking, because we're looking for affordable housing, we're looking for workforce housing, and this would be a great way to put something worthwhile and valuable that's going to accrue in value rather than depreciate like a mobile home, and get people into houses that have ownership. There's a lot of questions. I went over this. I met with Tim before this. And there's a lot of questions to be answered. Is, you know, what accessory structures can you put to them and different things. The biggest hiccup is that a site-built home requires 730 or 750 square feet, and this is 432. But if you compare it to the mobile homes that are 10 wide, 40 foot long, that's only 400 square feet total. you know, even a double wide that's say 24 by 36, which is a lot of those in some of the parks. This isn't that small compared to the mobile homes that it would replace on those lots. And that's really information on this. I ask you to look at it. I'm going to follow up with it, and I hope that at some point we can get something to happen in our city to allow this. Daytona Beach, their councilman there, Quinta May, is working really hard to get this in the Midtown section, and we have sections in our city that could use it.
Commissioner Q?
Yes.
Yeah. Dog track floor plan, 700 square feet. What's the idea?
They bring two together and connect them with a breezeway.
Uh-huh.
So it's
And
kind of like a
would
two-bedroom.
that satisfy the minimum requirement here?
I think it was still just shy of the minimum requirement.
Well, it looks like you have space in the middle. Could that be enclosed, I wonder?
Yeah, I guess if you enclosed it, but that, I don't know if dimensionally that's gonna fit on a lot of the lots. I know some of the lots that it would, but I can think of an area in every council district in this city that has ownership lots that these could be placed on.
What would the cost be of the dog track, do you?
I didn't get a price on that.
Yeah, I was wondering. Okay, thank you.
How do they secure it for hurricanes?
That would be a contractor question. I don't know how you would.
They have two options. With your stem walls, they can strap it down. They can put straps on the stem wall.
Kind of like they do a
And
mobile
then
home.
strap it down to the house. So it'll have a template of the foundation, and then they'll have, it'll look like truss straps, and they'll stick
Yeah.
it in the concrete, and then they fasten it. It could be Simpson coil straps, or it could be truss straps. They've done it that way. Some mobile homes, they've actually just traditionally put the cable, but this has more of a traditional house.
Mhm.
So it would probably be a traditional stem wall or something to a foundations with pillars or something.
Yeah.
It had to be poured concrete, which I was into this project 10 years ago.
I know, I
And I
remember.
was very familiar with this, and I briefly had meetings. And you're right, the city has zonings, and we talked about putting something like this in a mobile home community. Sometimes the people that own the mobile homes are renting the property, so they can't put something permanent on something that they don't own the property. So that's the first problem I came across. And the second problem was, we tried to do this out west, where it was more rural, where you could buy acreage and you could do a very educational, energy efficient, solar powered community with a community garden. And this was really a very nice project that I agree with you 100%, that has great potential in today's world. It's just our zoning has hiccups, that the way we can't intermingle mobile homes and the tiny homes together because of the way the mobile homes are set up. So, but if we can find a way that we can zone something, and then there's a large amount of property where we could put 10 or 20 of these, now that's a nice little tiny house community.
Yeah.
I wouldn't like it intermingling with mobile homes. I would probably rather have completely tiny homes where they all own their own lots, because it gives them some value and some pride to take care of it.
Not to point out specific areas, but the area around Commonwealth and Isabel, that's except for the one park to the north of Commonwealth, they own those lots. And that's one of the areas that first came to my mind. There's other areas in the city and that could do this. And I think it would be, Tim suggested that maybe the city would try a pilot program for this and see how it
Yeah.
worked. And I think it would spread, because you get one or two that replace, and then the people down the street look. And even an investor could get a reasonable return on his investment. I'm talking real estate jargon, but a cap rate and a ROI on this, if he was to replace some of those aged structures.
Yeah.
And of course, if we replace the aged structures, the other benefit for our city is a depreciated mobile home on a $25,000 or $30,000 lot that's been homestead protected is paying 0 property tax.
Yeah.
And this would bring those properties back into play on the tax rolls.
I mean, the principle, I'm 10 years into this thought, so I'm a big, you know.
Get a hold of this.
I think.
I wish
one of
we
the-
could go to. I wish we could go over there together, but if
It
the sunshine law
has
says
potential.
that if it's something that we might both vote on at some time, we
I
can't.
think you're right, though. The city has to have some input because they have to designate setbacks for these little things, and then a developer has to be able to subdivide these properties to individually be able to put these tiny homes in. So it is tricky when you're a property owner, you're trying to do this, and this is all new territory. So I don't even know what minimum setbacks to be able to put tiny houses on to maximize.
I'm looking at staff.
Well, that's
they're smiling over
that would
here.
be something they would have to, because this is all new territory.
Good evening, Penelope Cruz Planning. So I'm just going to pull up the zoning map real quick so you can see. So you can see the orange properties there. Those are the ones that are currently zoned RMH. Not all, but many of them are actual commercial residential mobile home subdivisions. They have actual individual lots, not parks. So those would be areas where something like this could work with some pretty simple code amendments as far as amending the minimum living requirement for that area, and just some other little just cleanups in there as far as making sure, because not every single RMH subdivision allows single family homes. Some of them do, not all. So just with some pretty minor cleanups.
That's potential.
With some pretty minor cleanups, we can tweak the land development code to allow this in those existing RMH zoned subdivision properties, not the parks. But we would just need to, so I guess the question is there a consensus on the planning commission for this? And if there is, then it would probably, as far as the best route, as far as directing staff, because we ultimately would need to get it past council as well, would be probably if there was a consensus from planning commission to go this route to amend the code, maybe have Newton make the same presentation with the consensus of the planning commission to the city council. If the city council also has consensus, then they can direct staff to move forward with the code amendment. And it should be pretty fairly simple if we want to do the initial trial to just have it in the RMH zoning district.
That's, I think, the trick there. For this to be a pure pilot program, I would be more strongly urging us to do this in a cluster of tiny homes nearby each other. I wouldn't want a tiny house in the middle of a surrounding mobile home environment. I would rather have
It's
three
gonna be
tiny.
it would be
So
a
we
risk.
wouldn't- yeah, we wouldn't be able
It
to
would
do
be a risk
that.
for the first person to do it. That's why it would be pilot.
Yeah.
The first person to do it is going to be the risk taker in doing this. The first few people to do it. But if we can make this happen,
If we were to amend the RMH zoning district the way we're describing, there wouldn't be any way to regulate that. It would be, because these are individual owned lots. These are
Right.
not, it's not a park or anything like that. And staff doesn't see a problem with it, because there's some of, there's already several of these RMH zoned subdivisions where you have single family homes next to mobile homes because they're allowed. So from a zoning standpoint, from a subdivision standpoint, it doesn't seem like there would be an issue with that. But like I said, it would, so it's only in these certain areas where they're, so you can see around Commonwealth, these are individual lots, it's not a park.
Penny, would they have wouldn't these have their own zoning? Wouldn't it be a specific zoning?
We don't have to create, because if we create a separate zoning, then in order to do it, they would have to rezone, and to rezone is $6,500 for the application plus legal ads, so then it makes an affordable housing project more expensive. So that's why we were saying we can amend the RMH zoning district to allow this. We've thought it through already in some detail. So, and that way the people wouldn't have to spend all those additional costs
Right.
in
That
rezoning
makes
as
sense.
well.
Yeah.
and if they're putting it where there's a mobile home, there's there won't be
So-
any impact fees.
Yeah,
So
good question.
what-
Not necessarily.
Not necessarily, but
There would be like recreation and different
It's
ones that weren't
probably
paid
too
before.
late for this, but, you know, for a while there, when everybody was, you know, upside down and this stuff, if some banks ended up with properties in there, and if we could talk to those banks and say, hey, if we can bundle 4 or 5 of these things together. And then my second question would be, is there grant money? You know, the whole big thing is affordable housing, affordable housing, affordable housing. Is there anybody that does any kind of grant money that would allow maybe the city to buy up some of these things? So that we buy them up and then we
I think we
can
wanna do that.
make.
So there's lots of different funding sources out there,
Right.
but the city's doesn't really have a housing program. The SHIP program, the county administers for us. You know, so we don't really have a housing program component in the city to do anything like that.
How tightly do we work with the county on that?
They contact us for, you know, when they have questions about different things, but they're really good at administrating that program. They do it from other cities as well, so.
currently there's no, I can speak on this a little bit. Currently, there's no assistance programs that I know of that are operating for properties in the city of Port Orange. All of the ones that have been available this year have been properties in Daytona Beach and Volusia County and West Volusia.
Well, if the county is administering this program,
It's sent down by the state and it's targeted, unfortunately, they keep sweeping the money. Hopefully, this coming budget year, when they roll it out for 2022, there's gonna be more money. And 23, there should be more money because the realtors are lobbying to get that fixed. And hopefully, if everything goes through as the deal is struck right now, in 2023, there'll actually be another $50 million of state money for first responders coming, on top of the Sandusky Fund dock stamp money.
I was just trying to
That
figure
sounds
out.
like a commercial, don't it?
I was just trying to figure, you know, this becomes a bigger problem. I mean, if we have to get the county tied into it to administer the program, then we're gonna need somebody at the county level to start wanting to champion this thing too.
Daytona Beach is jumping on this
Right.
for their midtown, particularly their midtown.
Well, how are they different than Port Orange? Do they have their own housing?
They have a housing authority. They have a housing authority in Daytona Beach, and they're in the designated area for the SHIP money.
So are we not in that designated area?
No, we are designated for SHIP and
The money
ourselves,
that's coming
but
down, because tried to get people, I talked to the Mid-Florida Housing Partnership, that the money that was available for this year, there wasn't any property designated in Port Orange that we could.
Okay.
But
well, all right, that's
I think
cool
as
for-
far as what Newton has presented to you, though,
Right.
now there is a legislative obstacle in our city, which is our zoning. So what we can do, the step we can take is get out of the way by changing the zoning parameters. And at that point, there's other programs that builders and affordable housing agencies, then they can do what they do.
So we're the first roadblock.
We don't have to administer a program or
That-
anything like that to
that's
make this
fine.
happen. We just have to get the zoning out of the way.
I'm
Yeah.
you know, I'm tonight new to this.
Mhm.
So I'm just trying to figure out, you know, where the blockages are. If we have to do our zoning, let's go for it.
Yeah.
Now,
Quick comment,
One
though.
quick little question. I'm making sure everybody gets a chance before I
I'm
forget
gonna go
this.
back to my corner.
If Port Orange starts to look at this in a serious direction, what is the possibility of reevaluating a piece of property that isn't associated in the mobile home community that, with the zoning change, could accommodate a cluster of tiny houses in a?
Somebody could propose that right now with PUD zoning.
Okay, that's good news. Okay.
I mean, we've been saying that for years to people
Yeah.
that have called and asked about that. You can do it right now through a PUD, but you would have to propose it through a PUD.
Okay. Well, that might be
So to
something that
build
we.
to build a village.
Well, I looked at 10 acres in Barberville because I wanted to do this in Barberville. It was the only place I was able to do it with such freedom. If this starts to happen and the zoning is workable with stuff like this, and of course, it's something that's an attractive feature for the city. It's an educational program. It's heavy advertised, and it could be sponsored. You may be able to have developers and investors do this.
The only thing is, as you know, the PUD the PUD process is a little bit expensive, time consuming. You have to have neighborhood meetings, public hearings. So, anyone is able to apply for that and go through that. All the deviations would be called out like we do with all PUDs, but that would be the avenue right now to use until any other zoning is amended.
Okay, I think I got enough for one. This is just scratching the surface, so.
Not my turn yet.
Just a quick comment. So officially, any home less than 600 square feet is considered a tiny home. So I would think we would just need to, which I'm sure you guys would, just make sure that we very detailed defined what we want a tiny home to look like. Because we don't want, if we're wanting to get rid of mobile homes, we don't want somebody throwing a teardrop RV on a piece of property because it's considered a tiny home because of the square footage.
Yeah,
We just need to be very specific.
the first tiny homes I ever saw were built on a trailer. And
Yeah,
and,
we're not gonna want that.
you typically had a loft. You slept in a
Yeah.
loft, and this is totally not that. You can see from the pictures.
We're just gonna wanna be, if we go forward with this, we're gonna wanna be very specific about
Yeah,
that,
'cause
so
they take
we know
these,
we're getting what we want.
Containment storage
Container homes.
units, and they convert them into tiny houses.
Yeah.
They're solid metal structure, but, I mean, they're very sound if they side the exterior and to make it look like a cute little house. I mean, it's how you aesthetically can convert it. It's very sound, it's anchored
We
on
just don't want it
pylons.
turning into an RV park instead of a trailer park.
Absolutely. And again, that is not the intention that I think this is going. I think
staff
everybody
can-
wants something.
I think from when I spoke with Tim, that staff already has an idea of how to word this to make sure that we get what we want. And this is, it's a site-built home. This is
No,
all
it's not,
intensive
really.
purposes, they build a site-built home, pick it up with a crane and move it.
Yeah.
And they
And
built
right,
it somewhere else
and right now,
instead
the
of building it outside.
RMH zoning has a minimum living area of 600 square feet, so.
Well, I think anybody, any commissions have
Do I
comments?
get to talk down here yet, Johnny? I'm over here.
There you are. Lance,
All right.
go for it,
All
yeah.
right, so let me ask you, I built some houses down off of Commonwealth, and I did it for an investor, and they were trailer park lots, I guess, or trailer size lots. They were 33 by 100. I built houses that were 23 by 50, 1,070 square feet living.
Probably in the
Permanent
NP zoning.
house. How does the zoning get changed from mobile home lot to a permanent single-family home? Was
So
that through the
there's-
zoning when they split it?
No, so there's, in that area, there's some areas that are zoned NP, neighborhood preservation, that outright allow single family. And then there's a provision in the RMH zoning district already that allows for single family homes if they're in certain RMH subdivisions. And so you have to go to another chapter and there's a list of all the subdivisions. That's why when I first started, I said some areas, not all, already allow single family.
Because there's a lot of them over there in that
Yeah.
area, because I know another builder that did a
Yeah.
bunch of them over there, and again, they're
The
they're
problem
23
has
foot
been,
wide.
the problem has been the 600 square foot minimum living area.
Okay.
So that would have to be amended, and probably some other just provisions here and there just to make sure it's what the city wants.
So, but to make these things work, they have to be on a lot that is an owned lot, not a rented lot. Because once you put this permanent structure on it, it's no longer, it's a single-family residence now and not mobile home, right?
So I think what Commissioner Newton was talking about was that it has to be a subdivided lot, not a mobile home park.
Now,
And so-
Lance, there's a possibility a developer can buy 5 or 6 of these lots.
Right.
And build 5 or 6 of these, and then he can either sell them or rent them.
But they're gonna be fee simple, I guess you would call it, as a realtor. You sell it with, it's got its own tax ID number and it's all that, right? I mean,
Parcel,
it is-
yeah.
Now it
Yeah.
becomes a home.
Yeah, and instead of.
But it's no longer on a mobile home lot anymore. So does a designation of that lot change, or?
No, the zoning we might rename the zoning category to make, but right now it's called residential mobile home as a zoning. It wouldn't change.
Okay.
Already, the code allows single-family homes on these residential mobile home lots.
It does.
Yes.
Okay.
In several of the RMH areas that are subdivisions, not parks, they allow single-family homes, but it has to meet the criteria.
Gotcha.
And so that dimensional criteria has been what's the roadblock right now.
Gotcha. Okay.
So if I owned a mobile home park, and I've got a bunch of houses that are 1,000,000 years old, and I want to get rid of them, could I just say, okay, I want to move out those old mobile homes, and this section of my park, I want 25 of these things?
No, you would have to subdivide the property.
That's what I'm saying, so I'd have
And
to
it
go
would,
ahead-
it would have to be, it depends how we amend the code. Right now, there's a specific list of subdivisions, because there are existing RMH subdivisions
Right.
that allow single family. It depends how we amend it. If we amend it to say any future RMH subdivisions would allow it, then that would, after they subdivide, they could. But as of right now, that park is not on that list.
Yeah, it really doesn't
But-
have designated lots in the park. You know
Well,
what I mean?
that's,
Like you would have to do
I
if
get
you
that, but
divided it.
if I'm the owner and I wanted to do this,
You would
I
have
could
to
go through the
subdivide it.
process
You'd have to
of
create-
saying, this block is, I want this to be a subdivision now.
Again, we'd have to look at that code amendment, because right now, there's a list of existing
Right.
subdivisions that allow single family in RMH zoning.
But I mean.
It doesn't, so right now, that parcel would not be on that list, because it's not a subdivision, it's a park.
So even if I came to you and I said, I want to be on that list,
So when we do the code amendment, if the planning commission and the council direct staff to move forward with this, and if you want it to apply to existing RMH subdivisions and any future ones, then we would need to know that so we can address that in the code amendment.
Is it safe, Lance, by the way, you're still
Yeah, I'm good.
open for a comment,
Um,
because we stopped on Newton.
Yeah, let's
Uh,
finish this subject
Now,
first.
with this topic that we're talking about, do we implement a roll call on Newton's idea to move it to another level? Can we do that? Because it's not on the minutes, or, I mean, it's not on the
You're
agenda.
really just asking for direction at this
Yeah,
point,
okay.
correct? I mean, you're just asking for
And-
consensus.
And
I
options.
think from staff, we'd
Done.
also like to have council direction, so if the planning commission wants to have Newton as a representative to go present this to the council, so that we can then get council direction too. We would hate to prepare a code amendment and then it's not approved by
We're
council.
seeking enlightenment.
Yeah, I don't think you're to that point. I think
Yeah.
it's
Right.
more of, are you gonna,
Is this a valid
Probably a
idea to
cons-
look into?
Yeah.
to move forward looking into it,
Okay.
and the vote really may be about
Mhm.
if they want Newton to be the representative
To go to
take it,
council.
Okay.
to present to council
Yeah.
on their behalf.
Now, Lance, you have, on this topic alone, did you have any?
No, I'm good on this topic.
Okay, all right. Does anybody have any more comments regarding Newton's topic? I'd like to hear a roll call in regards to if we can implement Newton's idea for
Motion.
I
further.
think you need a motion.
Or make
Um,
the- okay, yeah, I'd
because
like
you're
to hear a
gonna-
motion.
I'll make a motion that Newton presents this topic in front of city council on behalf of planning commission.
this to be known as Newton's first law of housing.
Well, that's good. That was good.
However you wanna
That's
word
very
it.
good. Do I hear a second?
Second.
All right, can we add a roll call on this?
Maria Mills Benet.
Yes.
Bo Bofamy.
Yes.
Lance Green.
No.
Newton White.
Yes.
Stan Schmidt.
Yes.
Chair John Junko.
Yes. All right, very good. As far as commissioner comments, Lance, you have the floor.
I do. Tim, can you come up? I got one quick question for
Oh,
you.
Tim. Thought
Sorry.
you were getting out of
You
here.
come up all the way here for his pumpkin bed, now this.
I know. And I'm just
Stale.
curious on something.
working.
When we have these little subdivisions going in, and I'm more example is the little 7-Eleven, Jimmy John's, Dunkin' Donuts right there at Madeline and, or what is that? Recanal and Clyde. So that little area, I assume, it's obviously subdivided. There's little roads branching out behind it. Who's responsible for the area? And the reason I ask is because behind every one of those stores now, they got where the road stops and they got the little road barrier has now become a dump site.
That'd be the property owner association and
Okay.
the property owner if it's on that property then. So
Okay,
we can
because
get with
there
code.
is now piled up to being a dump site with couches and baby chairs and just, I'm amazed that people will literally go behind a store and dump their garbage.
Basically, I'll get in contact with code enforcement tomorrow on that.
Okay, but so
Wow.
check that, because I'm not sure who's, because I know it's a subdivision or it's somebody's, but it's the end of the road, and they're just,
Yeah,
so.
It belong, there is a maintenance responsibility on that. and
Okay.
We'll basically find out who that is and
Okay.
work with them to get that resolved.
Okay, perfect. Thanks, man.
All right, any
That's
more
all I got.
comments from our commissioners? No?
Happy
Do we-
Thanksgiving.
Well, do we have any,
Oh.
well, yeah, I guess it's my turn. Yeah, that would be, steal your topic. Everyone have a safe holiday and enjoy your We do have staff comments. Do you have anything in particular that we need to?
Yes, wish happy Thanksgiving.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Oh, and yeah, we have to have public comments.
Nope.
You see, you gave him
Robert is
something,
baffled.
and he doesn't want to say anything.
This is the answer.
He's finished it. He's finished it. Well, with that being said, I'd like to adjourn the meeting.